Hi, Facebook. Welcome back to my car. I haven't done a broadcast in a while, and so I thought, hey, I got this on my mind. And what I find is, if I don't talk about things when they're on my mind, then I forget about them, and then I never do the broadcast. And I'm never as like, I got something to say a couple hours from now. So I thought I'd have something to say, and I titled this broadcast, Learning Disability or Earning Ability. So I met this wonderful lady yesterday and we talked for a little bit, and then her daughter kind of popped out. She's like just graduated from high school, is going to college. And it's a couple of sentences in, and then she's like, oh, my daughter has a learning disability. And I was just like, ugh, because my daughter has a learning disability, ADHD. Her daughter had an issue with math, something like that. But I quickly retorted and I said, hey, listen, every entrepreneur I know has a learning disability. And so I think your brain is made a different way for a reason, right? If 90% of the people out there all think the same way, those people who have a learning disability see the world differently or process information differently, that's not a disability. That's something actually really unique. And so I got to thinking, I was walking out of the building kind of just thinking about it after work, and I was like, you know what? I was like, it's not a learning disability. It's an earning ability, because like I said, every millionaire I know, and I know a handful of them because I run in all the different circles that I do with a lot of different entrepreneurs, and every entrepreneur I have ever met, and I'm not exaggerating, has something wrong. Learning wise, either they can't focus, they have the ADHD, they're too creative, they're all over the place, they're multiple ideas all coming out at one time, they lack kind of discipline to bring an idea to life, they have problems with numbers, or they're dyslexic, they can't read, even social issues, just like interpersonal communication issues where maybe they're too direct. I mean, every single entrepreneur I've ever met who has millions of dollars, who creates things and just sees the world in a different way, has a learning disability. So if your child has a learning disability, you have to reframe it and say they have an earning ability. That's actually what they have. That's so different than everybody else who sits there and learns how to trade time for money and goes to school and sits and then sits in college and then goes and they have a 9-to-5 job, and that's awesome. That's really great for so many people. But there are people who are out there who just can't sit there that long. They can't focus that long. And when I look at people like that, I just say they see this world in a different way. They don't see problems. They see opportunities, and they spend a good portion of their life with people telling them there's something wrong with them when there isn't. And I do think there's an element of being told that. I think I had mild dyslexia. I could not remember anything growing up. I would do spelling words and I would just forget them. I would look at them, I'd write them 6 times, and I just would draw a blank. And so, I look at that, and I look at just school, and just, it's just so, I don't know, mechanical at times, and my brain just was not entertained by it. I mean, I graduated with a really low GPA. I was lucky I even got into college. I didn't realize I could earn a grade, actually earn a grade, until I was in Psych 101. And I read a book pretty much for the first time. I did the work, and I passed a class with an A. And I graduated college with a really great GPA. But when I graduated high school, I talked my way through high school. I was so bored, and I just couldn't focus. I just don't want to focus on it. And now, I get to invent things and help entrepreneurs bring their ideas to life and get to be the focus for them. And I see things differently. I see different creative opportunities, different models and revenue streams. And so anyways, I just spent a good portion of my life working against that, working against feelings of you're stupid or you're dumb, or it was just a big, just false belief that I carried around in my own head. So anytime I run into young people, like I was talking about at the beginning of the story about this mom who introduced her college daughter, and within the first couple of sentences, she's got a learning disability. And I look at this beautiful girl, I'm like, no, she doesn't. She's just can't add really well, like, that's okay. You know, it's like, okay, so you're not developing, you know, rocket ships. You will not be an astronaut. That's fine. But maybe you come up with some sort of really cool creative way to do home education or to, you know, work with different kids. It's just, she's just a creative mind. So my point of the whole broadcast is, I think it's important to reframe learning disabilities as an earning ability, because that means your brain is working exactly the way God designed it. And I look at it as, you know, we have this influx of ADHD, we have this influx of, you know, learning disabilities. I think God's releasing entrepreneurs. I think God's releasing creative problem solvers for the host of chaos and chaotic issues we've got in this world. If ever we needed creative solutions, we need them now. And so we need minds that look at the world differently than 80 to 90% of the minds out there. So just because you may have a learning disability or your child may have a learning disability, make sure you reframe it, because there's a good chance that what you're carrying around of some of that insecurity, or you need to be careful not to sow it into your daughter or your son if they have it, a learning disability, and reframe it in your own mind to say, this is a creative mind, this is a problem solver, this is a nation changer, this is an entrepreneur. And do what you have to do as a person, as a parent, to just give your children the tools they need to move forward. So take those creative ideas, teach them how to bring them to life. If they lack the discipline, be the discipline for them and say, oh, let me handle the number side of that. What was that idea? And it's like, if you get a really great strategic business partner later on in life, you don't need to know the numbers. You don't need to, you know, be an amazing speller or whatever the issue is that you feel like is holding you back, whatever that learning disability is. You could always, you know, counteract whatever, you know, your deficiencies are, quote unquote, deficiencies, with a really strategic business partner or partner in life, maybe a spouse even. So anyways, I just thought this was a fun broadcast and wanted to encourage you. So if you know somebody that has a learning disability or somebody with kids with a learning disability, just go ahead and tag them in it, because I think it's so important of what we're speaking and what we're saying over ourselves and over our children. And so for me to have had that happen yesterday, where, you know, a couple sentences in, and this mom's like, this is my daughter, and she has a learning disability, and she's totally normal, and she just, like, maybe isn't great at math. I mean, that's important. Like, if that's being spoken over her, I was like, no, every entrepreneur I know has a learning disability, so you're probably gonna invent something. And you could just see her, like, kind of perk up, and even the mom perked up, and she was like, oh, wow, thank you for saying that. I think she so needed to hear that. So whoever needs to hear it now, hear it. Reframe it. It's an earning ability. That's what you have. You see the world differently. So ask for the creative solutions and ask for opportunity. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.